you called Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay garbage and said you hope the internet cut out during that match.
Right. Ugh, this is where I hope we lose like internet access or something. There's no way. Both those people are just garbage.
This is in our prediction video, which people seem to enjoy our prediction videos.
Because of me.
I guess, but I think they're more just shocked that you said some bullshit like that before what ended up being considered one of the greatest matches of all time.
Well, it was the truth.
And then, what was the truth? That they're garbage? No.
It was my truth.
No.
My truth.
No, it's your make-believe.
How's it make-believe?
It's make-believe. I asked you to at least watch the match so you can see
watch
how
some of
wrong
it.
you are. No. You left halfway through and went upstairs and said you were too tired because you were tired of all the slappy slaps. I tweeted it out. I said, Toni said she's leaving because of all the slappy slaps. You didn't even watch the back half of the match.
I didn't even see that tweet.
Where everything ramped up and the counters and the strikes and the selling and the headshots and everything else.
Are you done?
I guess.
I mean, if you're just going to yell at me for having an opinion.
But it's not even an opinion. It's not founded in anything.
I don't like them.
You don't watch them.
I do, and then I give up because they didn't do nothing to captivate me. And then I ask you, what's the story for this match? And you're like, well, Ospreay says he's the best, but he has to beat the best. And Danielson is at the end of his career, blah, blah, blah. So he wants to show he still got it. Is that what you told me?
I'm sorry there's not a Samoan family involved and a blonde
I'm just saying, there's no stakes, no title, no nothing. Stakes. I'm supposed to care?
There's always stakes in wrestling. Every single wrestling match, the stakes is win or lose. If you win, you move forward. If you lose, it's a step backward.
Here's the thing. How are you measuring Will Ospreay's greatness? I need to know. Because like in every other sport, there's wins and loss column. Here there isn't, because the wins and losses are predetermined.
There's a ranking system in AEW.
But they're predetermined wins and losses. They're not winning off of merit. So how are you telling me that they're the best that there is when I don't know what statistic you're using? What is the measuring stick?
You have to watch the matches. And
why can't you just tell me?
Right,
just tell
stop
me.
Screaming. The microphone's gonna blow out.
But I'm asking you a simple question. Christopher Robinson, tell me why Will Ospreay is so great, and all you do is tell me to watch him. I'm not seeing what you're seeing.
His moveset.
Okay, I don't understand.
Impressive. The way he flies, he strikes, he counters, he has power moves, he has all sorts. His selling too. When he's on defense, his selling, the back and forth, the flow and pace of his matches. They're not car crash. Like it tells a story of a wrestling match, of a back and forth between two people. And he's been in there, and it's just fun to watch. You leave it feeling like, wow, yeah, I just watched a really good professional wrestling match. I don't know how to explain it other than like feel. It's like a Brooklyn Nine-It's mouth feel.
Okay, so feel. You have to feel
it's opinion.
Right. So my opinion is I don't feel nothing.
But you can't shit on him and say he's the worst or they're garbage, because that's not right. You can just say, not my cup of tea. I don't find him as enjoyable.
So you can say they're the best
Rhodes.
Based off of what?
Based off general consensus.
How come you can say they're the best? Well, what consensus? Who is this committee of wrestling fans that get to decide who the best is?
Every wrestling fan on the internet.
The internet. How come when I mention the internet and the interwebs, you're like, oh, you can't listen to the dirt sheets, you can't listen to the interwebs?
It's because it's bullshit reporting and fake news and different things like that.
So, but it's not fake news when you listen to the interwebs. And Dave Meltzer, I don't know who that is.
I'm seeing wrestling fans that I follow and seeing wrestling media people and seeing every opinion.
I see countering opinions by people that I think also have opinions.
All right, I'm not gonna sit here all day and argue the match because you're just wrong. There's no way around it. It was a great match. It was a great show.
To you, I sat there and saw slappy slaps, and then I got upstairs because I was
everybody slaps, everybody chops. WWE, AEW.
Yeah, but that was a slap. At one point, I was like, okay, they did this already.
It's striking. If you're in a fight, there's strikes. You can't use closed fists in wrestling. That's the unofficial. That's the rule. You can't. So chops and elbow strikes and different things. It used to be in the day, if you use a closed fist, you get disqualified. That's why palm strikes, everything else. All right. Welcome to the show.
You just started by yelling at me.
People were flabbergasted. You said you didn't know who Kyle O'Reilly was. One guy on TikTok took offense to that. He was like, huh? And then somebody asked if we had a prenup because of your opinion on Ospreay and Danielson, as if our marriage hinges on your wrestling opinions and my wrestling opinions meshing together.
Now we knew what we got into.
Anyway, welcome to the show. This is your Mean to Me podcast. Apparently, I'm being mean right out of the gate. I'm Chris Robinson. This is
Antonia Robinson. Toni Robinson.
Toni Robinson.
Tony.
At Tony Hurricane on Twitter now. You finally changed your garbage Twitter name to something.
Because I don't make it rain, I make it hurricane.
Yeah, okay. There's already a wrestler named Hurricane. And it's Tony Storm, and now you're Tony Hurricane.
Because I'm bigger than a storm.
Because you're bigger than a storm. Oh man, what a week it's been. You can find all our links. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of our social media, Linktree/Your Mean to Me Pod. Make sure you subscribe and follow and all that good stuff. Thumbs up if you're digging the video or the podcast. Thumbs up, all three cameras. Anyway, speaking of the internet, well, you know what? We did a little thing. Asked a little question of our following. It was small following. We just started this podcast. This is episode 9, I believe. But I just want to see if we get some feedback on a question to kind of spark the conversation. But I'm going to put that on hold to the second segment. Yeah. Because you said, can I talk about my topic today? And you've got a notebook here, although that page is blank.
Well, I didn't want you to get what I was going to talk about, so I hit it.
So you have a topic. Usually I come up with the topics. I come up with like 3, 4, 5 things. We don't go through all of them. And I just kind of see where the conversation goes. And then if something's coming to a head, I switch topics. So what do you have? Do we have to name this segment like Tony's Topics?
Yes. Welcome to Tony's Topics, where we go into something.
Look at your camera.
Oh, I'm looking at you. I thought we were talking to each other.
Well, if you're talking, you can talk to the audience too. They love you. They agree
Welcome
with
to Tony's Topics. So we talk about something that I researched because I wanted to.
Okay, so yeah, you introduce stuff, and then now you're back to me. So what do we got? What's Tony's topic for today?
So in our recent PPV,
what
pay-per-view?
You talking about Dynasty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We had a conversation during the Hook and
try to stay on mic.
Jericho. I'm trying, but I'm trying. That's why I told you I want the one that goes like this, like Britney Spears microphone.
Yeah, that's what people use for podcasts. Okay.
We had a talk during the Hook and Jericho match, which it was a meh match.
That was a terrible match.
I was being nice. And there was a situation with the ref where you were like, hey, ref, this is the rules of the match and you're not following them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I dug in because this isn't our first time having an issue with some reffing at AEW.
Yeah.
You have an opinion.
Let me preface this before you continue. I was a professional wrestling referee.
I was going to get to that.
Why are you yelling?
Because you don't let me dictate the pace of the conversation.
I just wanted to interject that so people know.
Because I was going to get to that. I was going to introduce your expertise as a referee later on. You don't let me do things.
This is why you should have told me what you're going to talk about. You have this layout of things the way you want them to go. I just improv this fucking thing.
So
I don't care. Nobody can see that part of the microphone. All right, go ahead. So yeah, we had a problem.
You've had opinions
made comments in the past.
Because you have a background. See how I went to that, and you have reffed for several years in the indie scene here before you made it to manager level.
I switched to manager level. Okay, yeah.
A promotion.
Lateral move. Anyway.
So you have an understanding. Now, people like my dad and like people who don't understand wrestling might think, why have a ref when it's predetermined? It's all scripted. But you're a critical part of the whole spiel, right? You guys keep it on pace. You make sure nobody gets hurt. You do your counts. You do whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it seems that AEW regularly gets a lot of criticism for their sloppy reffing.
I wouldn't say regularly anymore.
Okay, Bully Ray.
What?
Last year had 2 incidents.
Last year.
Where he thought that it was because it apparently
who?
Bully Ray.
Bully Ray from.
Yeah. It's in my reference here. Bully Ray.
No, God, I can't remember the name of his show. Anyway, keep going. Busted Open Radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there were other.
Who himself was a referee at WrestleMania. Go on.
Yes. So aside from the Hook and Jericho incident, there was another one with like MJF and Adam Cole where something was done with the counting and it wasn't consistent.
Okay, so all right.
Hold on, I'm not done.
You're taking forever to get around to a point. What is your point? We've had problems with the referees.
So I think this breeds into my overall issue with AEW, right?
Oh, okay.
So hold on,
you told me this wasn't going to make me mad. Go ahead.
I said I don't know. Did I say that?
Go ahead.
You shouldn't get mad at me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's one specific issue I take with AEW, right? And it's like the refinement of it. And don't come at me, they're a 5-year-old company, blah, blah, blah. Right? So it's like, these little things that, and it's weird because as a casual fan, you always tell me it's not for the casual fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a true lover of wrestling, you would appreciate a good ref and one that doesn't throw off the pace of the match, one that doesn't get too involved, one that isn't inconsistent. So how come you don't bitch about that more often?
About the refs?
Well, just in general, like even promotion, like I feel like it comes off low budget and it kind of dismisses all the little things, right? Like
no. Look. There's been we just started this podcast. I've criticized AEW referees in the past after I became one and saw the ins and outs and trained with some professional people and been in the ring with some name talent. I'm not gonna say her name, but I also went to seminars with AEW referee Bryce Remsburg and learned things from him. It's really hit and miss. There's two referees that I think are not at the best level. One was Rick Knox because there's a couple times wrestlers have been hurt and concussed.
That's the other thing. Like, this is a big deal because like they're a big part of making sure that you guys injuries are like if they continue counts when like there's no kick out, it could be that the wrestler's injured and they've continued matches when they shouldn't have.
Right. I mean, I've been in the ring when people got concussed and we kind of had to go to the finish or change the finish. It's not. It's thinking on the fly. It's improvisation. You got to listen to the wrestlers. They kind of take charge at that point, and as long as one of them's conscious. I think it was an issue. I think the thing with AEW, the referees, and Aubrey Edwards, and I don't rip on her because it's one female ref. I don't want to come off misogynist or everything, but when she first started, she was not great. And she hadn't had a lot of she wasn't a very experienced ref comparative to Paul Turner, longtime Ring of Honor ref. Bryce Remsburg, been reffing out the Indies for decades. Rick Knox, a long time, but I feel like he just came across still less experienced somehow. And they've added people along the way. But Aubrey Edwards did a lot of theatrics with her arms, and people used to say that it looked like she was trying to land a plane during the match, and she toned that down. But yeah, at Dynasty, during the House Rules match with Julia Hart and Willow, she tried to call a rope break, even though they distinctly said there were no rope breaks in the match.
No, that was Hook and Jericho.
No, that was Julia Hart's match also. No,
both of them? Because remember, there was one point Hook was trying to grab for the rope, and you're like, Hook, you can't get the rope break. So
yeah, that and apparently it was false count anywhere. And Hook was pinning Jericho, and then she leapt out of the ring. I'm like, if it's false count anywhere, you have to stay with the wrestlers wherever they go. If they're out of the ring, you got to be out there to get ready for the count. You can't sit there in the ring and wait. I did a no holds barred false count anywhere street fight between Joey Janela and Barry Horowitz. Yes, Barry Horowitz for WrestlePro, and they went all over the Rahway Rec Center. And it wasn't really false count anywhere, but you stay with them, especially in a false count anywhere match when you know they're going to be doing pinfalls outside of the ring, maybe in the crowd, maybe on the stage, whatever. And she kept going back in the ring. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And it's just, I don't know if it's lack of experience in those types of matches.
Also in my research, I read that there's inconsistent direction given to the refs in terms of their counts and what to do and so on and so forth. So, and I don't know how much of that's true. It's just random internet stuff. But this is where I think why I can't sit and watch, because I understand that everybody's thing is oh, they have such great in-ring wrestling and that's their thing, 5-star matches. But I like the polishedness and the fine-tuning and the small details, right? And
the consistency of WWE referees.
Thank you. And not even just with referees, even in terms of the production itself. I
think that's great.
When they have audio issues with their vignettes, I'm like, oh, come on now. This is Bush League shit. I don't you should know that, or when their camera doesn't get the right shot for a move or any of those little things.
I'm not.
So I think, because I got some guff a couple of weeks ago when I made a comment about hair and makeup for the ladies.
Got some guff.
Right? They're like, oh, go
Internet guff.
Go watch the Next Top Model or
Oh, you're reading those YouTube comments. Can't do that.
I don't care. But I think it goes to the overall, this shouldn't be a low budget production. Tony Khan has too much money to be showcasing the talent that he has. If you're gonna tell me it's the greatest on a stage that isn't you can't be sloppy about it. If your wrestling isn't sloppy, don't make everything else sloppy. Everything else should look, because otherwise, go on Fight TV and put your shit on there for the die-hard wrestling fans. Don't waste my time on cable television if you're not gonna give me TV quality shit.
I mean, look, mistakes happen. Mistakes have happened in WWE in the past. Vince McMahon, the stories of losing his mind.
Botches. These are legit production things that you should know.
You're acting like WWE cameras have never missed a shot, or the producer, the switcher, has never cut to the wrong camera. This has happened. It's just,
I feel like it's more frequent.
It's more noticeable to you because I feel like you watch AEW with a bit of an edge. Like you're expecting this stuff to happen. You already have a chip on your shoulder that you're not a fan of the product.
Oh, so it's me.
So when these little things happen, they stand out more to you. Yes. Do they happen a little more frequently? Yes. And, you're going to say this is a 5-year-old company. Yeah, but they just switched production people. They're changing and evolving because they don't want these things to keep happening.
But then they do things that don't make sense. Like when I asked you why they have 2 entrance tunnels, you're like, oh, one for the heel, one for the face. And then you're like, wait, because I thought that would make more sense to me. I like knowing who I should and shouldn't like.
That was the old philosophy. When they brought it back now with this new set, they haven't really used it cohesively. And I don't know why. It's like, I think you should just go back to the one tunnel if you're not going to use it consistently. I think that's the problem you have with AEW is because you watch WWE and it's so polished because it's been around for so long and there's just solid consistency that when they try things new, like they've been doing a lot lately production-wise, it's more like, oh. Where with AEW, they try something new, it's like, oh, what are you doing? Like you couldn't even get the basics right. Why are you trying this new shit? Or why are you changing the set? Like it doesn't make sense. Like nobody's coming out of the left-hand tunnel. Like I get it. I'm not saying they're perfect. I don't watch it with this overly critical thing for the production, really. I watch for the wrestling. So, I mean, yes, that stuff happens. Does it take me out of it completely? I've been watching for,
but
35
as someone
years.
who appreciates the wrestling, don't these things matter to you? Like, I don't get it. Like, why
they
would
matter, but I have no control over them. I can't call up Tony Khan and be like, hey, man, can't hear the audio in the opening.
Because I don't want to hear that he's not trying to get
me
casual fans, but if I'm a true lover of something, I want to see it showcased properly.
You want me to text my friends who work there and be like, hey, could you just pass this along to Tony Khan from Tony? To Tony from Tony.
I'm just saying, I think that's my biggest issue, and
that's fine.
It starts like that's why I noticed the referee stuff more, and also you
can criticize them from that, but to call 2 guys garbage like that are not, that like you're acting like they're 2 rookie opening match slugs when they're widely considered. Like you haven't seen Will Ospreay's run in Japan. I don't think you've seen the majority of Daniel Bryan's run in WWE.
Here's the thing: if I this is just you just hold like you give them the same way I feel like you think I hold them to a different like an impossible standard. I feel like you give them way too much grace because let's be real. If they booked a match at WrestleMania that was just about who's the better wrestler, The Rock or Cody Rhodes, and they just put him in the ring with no actual storyline or no build up to it, you'd be like, this would be stupid. You're telling me that their whole match was just, oh, we just want to know who's better because I'm the young startup and you're the veteran and everything like that.
That's a classic wrestling. That was the whole basis for Randy Orton and Triple H during their feud. Like it built from other.
Was it a feud?
But that look, it's not over. I don't think it's over. We're recording this on Tuesday. I don't know what's going to happen on Dynamite. I don't think it's over. I think with Double or Nothing coming up, I think they're going to possibly build to Ospreay Danielson too. Look, you just don't like the story, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. Just cause you literally just said what it was. I'm the best. I'm the new guy. I'm the best in the world coming here to AEW to prove that. You're the old dog. You're the old legend. You're the Hall of Famer. And you want to test yourself and prove that even in your going out, even in your swan song, you're still better than everybody. That's a story. That's a classic wrestling story. It doesn't have to be 2 years of big losses and families and bloodlines. Like you're comparing it to something that's never been done before in Cody and Roman in the bloodline in this modern
I'm not
era.
comparing it to that. Like in general, you're the same person who said Jay and Jimmy didn't have that shit you didn't care about
because it was a story that kind of had an ending to it, and they just ramped it back up for Mania. And if they had had a match like Ospreay and Danielson had, I would have shut my mouth. But they shit the bed at WrestleMania.
Oh, but it proved to be part of the story because now Jimmy was kicked out of the bloodline for losing.
I'm not talking about the losing. The match itself was bad. But the match itself was just a bunch of super kicks.
Okay, but
please trust me again spot. You're talking about 30 seconds out of a 20+ minute match. You don't like.
And you act like I haven't seen the match. I've seen the match. I see it the next day. I just don't feel like sitting through it.
You watched that with Psycho knee to the side of Ospreay's head as he came off the ropes looking for the Os cutter, and it
yes,
looked like he died. You tell me that's not amazing and an amazing sell and amazing timing to hit him.
I don't get how it's the best. It's not like I haven't seen a well-executed wrestling move like that before.
Yeah, right.
That's why I keep asking you, what standard are you measuring this by?
My own personal.
Okay, and I am too.
Okay. We're gonna argue this till on our deathbed. It'll be in the divorce papers. Well, she said they were going to... What?
Nothing.
I'm kidding. Didn't sign that prenup. Can you imagine if I put that in the prenup? Like, first, if we had one, we don't. Let's be honest. But if I put that, but like, if Toni ever overly criticizes a professional wrestling match that I enjoy, like, has that ever been done? You think there's anything wrestling really has got to be in Stephanie and Triple H's prenup? You think there's anything? All right. Can we shift gears? That was a good topic. It actually kind of furthered the conversation we started with. Mm-hmm. Are you mad because I'm talking about divorce? I can't tell you.
No, I'm just tired of you shitting on my opinion.
I'm not shitting on it. You're entitled to your opinion.
All right.
I just don't agree with it, and I'm telling you why. And
but you're telling me I can't say they're garbage.
I'm telling you that. And
you make it seem like
going. I don't want to keep going about it. I don't want to keep. You can say whatever you want. I'm just saying it feels to me like if I didn't like something, like I'm not saying Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso are garbage. I'm saying they had a bad match. I'm not saying I don't ever see them again. I hope they're fired. I don't wish any of that on them. Those two guys had a bad match. That's it. And I don't think Jey should have been rewarded with a world title shot. But like not ever again. Just currently. Let him build back up, let him get back in a groove. But they've already pushed him. It's already done. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't criticize with finality and, like, plant my flag in the sand. You've planted your flag in the sand. These two guys suck. AEW sucks.
I haven't. I give him a chance. You make it sound. You always say, like, I don't give him a chance. Like, I don't sit down with you every Saturday night and watch Collision or every Wednesday night and watch Dynamite and then get bored of it because nothing happening.
This is you watching Collision.
First of all, that's you watching everything.
Scroll, make up videos on Instagram. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
That's my line.
No, it's CM Punk's line. All right. I'm sure we're going to come back to this someday because we like to call back on this show. But let's talk about the question that I asked people today. Still kind of on AEW. We'll keep this kind of short. But I want to know, there's 3 world champions right now on the sidelines for AEW. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, MJF, Kenny Omega, all former world champions. Who is going to have the bigger impact upon their return? And it seems like the majority of people across the platform said MJF. We had our good buddy, Mr. Paul Morales from the Weekly Review on YouTube. He's got his own podcast. He said depends on the storyline. Kenny was in a feud with the Bucks, so we could start there. MJF could come right in and face Swerve. But he also has unfinished business with Joe. Britt could be in the title picture right away. Who else we have here? Another friend of this show, Sean Pokego Fan 1979 said Omega going after Elite will be a bigger impact. Why? Because Bucks kicked him out of the Elite and replaced him with Okada. MJF versus Undisputed Kingdom lost its steam. But in terms of like votes and stuff, people mainly say MJF. But those are both good comments. So I want to ask you, Toni Hurricane on Twitter, who's going to have the bigger impact?
Well, if he comes back, MJF.
If he comes back, he's coming back.
I don't know.
You don't know? What are you hearing on the sheets, Toni?
I hear he's been talking to people and he was tweeting at The Rock and all this stuff, so I don't know.
He was tweeting at The Rock. That must mean he's coming. They all tweet at each other now. There's no rules anymore about that. I think like there used to be stricter.
I'm just making a point.
Okay. So you think MJF's going to have the bigger impact?
Yeah, I like MJF. I think he's, he'll have the bigger impact. I mean, you like Kenny Omega, but...
I like Kenny Omega, and I think he, like they said there, he has a ready-made storyline to come back with the Elite if and when Kenny comes back. We don't know. I think MJF and Dr. Britt are probably closer to coming back, but again, AEW kind of kayfabes their injuries a little bit. Like, we don't really know. I mean, we watched Adam Cole break his ankle on live television, so we know what his injury was. Same with Mercedes, before she came on board. But with those two, I think I heard Britt's was back-related. I'm not sure. MJF said, I think, on a podcast before World's End, it was his shoulder and his hip that he issues with. I don't know if he has surgery. I don't know if he just needed rest and rehab. He was the face of AEW last year. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. People tune in and watch him and the show for him. So, yeah, I agree with a lot of people who voted on Instagram and YouTube and the different places I put the poll. MJF will have the bigger impact.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of love for Kenny Omega, specifically in this area.
I miss you, Kenny.
But I do think MJF was the big deal, and
I mean, it had the ready-made storyline. The stuff with the Undisputed Kingdom didn't get solved. It was Adam Cole revealing he was the devil, and then MJF going, "Cool, I gotta go. I'm hurt." And now it's kind of a flat way to end that story, but it's there for when he comes back. They can kind of ramp it back up.
You mean the mid-card mafia?
The mid-card mafia, yes. You like to call them the mid-card.
I heard on the Twitter.
Say it with your whole chest.
Mid-card mafia. I ain't shy about it. Were they going to come for me?
I didn't like, I don't like what they're doing with Wardlow right now. I think they kind of dropped the ball with him again. And the one thing I said on, going back to the referee thing, Wardlow came out during the Roderick Strong Kyle O'Reilly match and tried to get in the ring. He wasn't out there with Roddy at first. He tried to get in the ring, and the referee was like, "Oh, no. And then Wardlow just stayed at ringside and didn't interfere again. But I'm like, why did the referee let him stay? He tried to physically insert himself in the match. Toss that motherfucker. Like, get him out of here. And somebody was like, "Oh, why? He didn't do anything." I'm like, he tried to get in the ring. Like, I don't know. Again, just going back to the referee issues. And that's referee Paul Turner. I'm sure, that whole spot was mapped out beforehand. But
it still causes confusion if you like.
It confused because I'm like, he tried to get in the ring. Like, if he got in the ring with a chair and went like this and a chair over his head, and the Paul Turner was like, "Hey, Wardlow, no."
Like the Kembe Mutombo.
No. Yeah. So, yeah, the Undisputed Kingdom they're kind of treading water right now because Adam Cole's still hurt. Roddy's kind of carrying the ball with the international title. That whole thing. But it was cool. Thanks for everybody who, voted and commented. I want to try to do this on a more regular basis. I throw up like a graphic, a poll, whatever, just so we get some fan input, some listener.
Can I do one sometime?
Sure. Just let me know so I can make a graphic for it.
Okay.
With the Photoshops.
Like, are you excited for Real Housewives of New Jersey? Yes. Also, yes.
Who am I going to put in that graphic, Teresa?
Also, what do you mean who you going to put in that graphic?
Melissa Gorga.
Okay.
Louis celebrated his 50th birthday. I saw big birthday cake for him. Came across my Instagram feed. Good for him. 50.
Making it to 50.
The big 50.
He's actually younger than Teresa. She's been 50.
She been 50.
She's like 51 or something now.
Oh. And then we're running kind of short on time here. I want to talk about Becky Lynch's big win last night.
Oh, you do?
Come back. Sorry, you didn't want to talk about Becky Lynch?
I didn't know it was on your list of things.
It's on my list of things here. I have a lot of things, but I think this one, everything else, a little more in-depth stuff we can go into next week in future episodes. Do you think she's re-signed?
Yes.
You think so? She cut her vacation short to come back and save them from I think she was going to take a lot more time off. So that they made it seem, and she came back to take the championship. I don't know. I still would have preferred Nia Jax. Are you happy with the Becky Lynch win?
I wouldn't have hated any winner there of the three that they had left in the ring.
This is the only three in the main event scene on Raw. It's another thing too. I feel like they could have used this opportunity to jump someone into the main event scene with Rhea being out, but I feel like with the draft starting this week, they'll kind of reshuffle things and maybe add another big name main event style person because I feel like everybody else is kind of treading water. It was really just Becky, Rhea, and Nia for the last couple months, and now Liv's back, and they're starting to push her into the scene. But everybody else, they had like the package about Zoe Stark, and they talked about Shayna's NXT accomplishments and all that stuff. But they still feel mid card. They still feel like no, they're nowhere near.
And this is why you need a mid card title, right? These women should get a lot of recognition because
I think we mentioned it briefly. NXT's getting one.
It was even nice to see Maxine get a little bit.
It's a little bit of shine, yeah.
Listen, Chelsea Green has stolen my heart.
Are you finally on board with Chelsea Green?
I love how she say it? Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
I love it. I love her like face. She made like, oh, I could get back in the ring. You didn't see that.
It's amazing.
But she plays her role very well. She knows what she's out there to do, and she does it.
She's a Karen. She's an exaggerated Karen. That's the
She's
idea.
Pretty and obnoxious, and that's right in my wheelhouse. Pretty and obnoxious.
I have refereed her husband several times.
Name drop. Who's her husband?
Matt Cardona. Best wishes to him. He's out recovering from pec surgery.
Matt Cardona's married to Chelsea Green.
Matt Cardona's married to Chelsea Green.
Didn't I see him wrestle?
Come on, girl, you got it. Huh?
I've seen him wrestle.
You've seen Matt Cardona wrestle in Rahway?
I'm 1 degree separation from Chelsea Green.
Yeah, never met her. It's only been Cardona. Refed him against Danny Moff a couple times. Yeah. Good guy. But yeah, she's been great. And I that's the thing. I think like
And she elevates Piper, I feel like.
She does. She's been played as such a comedy character, but I feel like at any second they could kind of turn and push her. Mm-hmm. She's good in the ring. It's just they've really leaned into her personality and the constant altercations with Adam Pearce and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like they could have strapped a rocket to somebody. They didn't. I get it.
I think it's a weird way to strap a rocket. I think the safe bet was Becky Lynch.
I think it's a good way to strap a rocket because the Battle Royal is a weird way to crown a new champion on short notice. I get it. Again, I was hoping, I think I said it on Twitter and I said it to you, I was hoping like a double finish, like either Becky and Nia or Becky and Liv to both hit at the same time the floor, and the referee's like, I don't know who won. And then they have a one-on-one at Backlash to settle it. I think that would have been cool. They haven't done anything like that in a long time, the double foot finish. But I went with Becky, and that's fine. She's got issues with Nia. She's got issues with Liv. I mean,
and she's still great.
The draft is coming up. Maybe somebody comes over from SmackDown, challenges her at Backlash because Rhea's going to be out for a bit. So, no, I got no problem with it. It just kind of stinks because it's like, oh man, she could have had that big win at Mania, but they didn't know. They wanted to keep Rhea strong and keep her going. She was kind of having a Gunther run or a Roman run, like the longevity champions they're building these days, but which I kind of hope goes away. But that's another story. I don't know. Do you like these long-term champions?
No, everybody agrees that you want to see them. You want to see some new champs.
Yeah, I mean Samoa Joe was world champion for about 4 months. He won in December. He lost it here in April to Swerve. Are you happy about Swerve's win?
Did Nana win?
Did Nana?
When they put the belt on Nana, I'll be happy.
Nana's not a wrestler. He's a manager. What are you talking about? When they put Nana was there when he won the belt. Like, you want Nana? Swerve is a really good wrestler, and Swerve's built himself up with a long-term story that started last summer. The argument we had the other night that we should have recorded about, like, oh, AEW doesn't tell long-term stories. Swerve's story started last summer with Hangman and ended this past Sunday, with the world title win. No, nothing.
Cool story,
I'm
bro.
right. Just say I'm right. You say you're right. That's
cool
a long
story, bro.
So cool story, bro. How long term do you want a story to be? Do you want it to be 2+ years? That's a long term story for you?
I'm just not intrigued. I remember when my mom said that she thinks Cody Rhodes has a bigger aura than The Rock, and we were both like, the fuck?
Your mom also said OJ wasn't guilty, but here we are.
Okay, well, don't call her out like that on the podcast. She didn't say that.
And she lives at.
She did not say that. She said, we don't know. He was found not guilty, okay? Mom, I love you.
Cover that ass.
But, don't do that.
Kayfabe, brother, about my mother.
I'm going to get comments in the YouTube section. Your mama, blah, 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 blah. No, if anybody comes talking about my mama, though.
I'm joking.
I'm going to find you.
Inside joke, bringing it to the podcast because I knew we'd get that reaction.
But yeah, now I forgot what I was talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, and I lost it. We talk about OJ at some point. Rest in peace.
Oh, I just don't think there's no aura coming from anybody at AEW. Like they're not playing to
even MJF.
No, he got an aura. That's why I like him.
There you go.
He's playing to the like the nosebleeds. Like that man projects his arrogance.
Yeah.
Far and wide. Like I'm not getting that from Ospreay. I feel like it's fabricated arrogance. Like his story is about being the best or whatever. But
choking on Sprite Zero over here. Sorry, folks.
Like I'm not even a big fan of like the dragon thing with Daniel Bryan. I don't know. Something about being a dragon. That doesn't. I don't know.
He doesn't believe he's a dragon.
I think he does.
I'm still joking.
But yeah, I just think that they don't fill. I don't feel it coming off the screen. Like nobody's coming off the screen like, oh man, that is a person.
Point. That's a fair point.
That's like, oof, that's a personality. Oof, that's a lot of you're impacting me.
I think Swerve is going to fill that role. I think he's going to get there. I think he's on his way there. I think this world title win is the final like push to be like for everybody to take him seriously. Like he's a world champion now. Here we go. And he's going to kind of, hopefully his run takes him to another level and elevates the whole company in the way that MJF's reign did.
Yeah, because and even with WWE, with the like Chelsea Green, we'll go back to that personality reaches. Like she is playing it up with R-Truth. I've never been happy. I have never jumped for joy with a wrestling.
You like larger than life. You like it to be a little more larger than life.
Because if you're on my TV screen, I want larger than life.
Right.
I'm not here. I mean, I don't know who else thinks this. It's also why I watch cartoons and not what I call people shows. Right? Because I live in a reality. I don't want, when I want escapism, I don't want like, oh, he's an average Joe, like Eddie Kingston. Like, I tell you all the time, Eddie Kingston, Mark Briscoe, I can see fighting on the fucking F train. I don't want to see that. I want to see superheroes. I want to see Cody Rhodes looking like fucking Homelander. And I want to see people who I think like have superpowers and can levitate and things like that. Right? Like, why would I watch and spend 3 hours watching TV of people that like aren't exciting?
I get it.
And I get it. Like, you're good. But it's like watching a team that you're not invested in, or watching like an all-star game, right? Or watching like the Pro Bowl. Like, I get it. You guys are good at what you do. I'm just not invested in what this is.
That's a good analogy for it. Yeah. But that's the thing. That's why, like, I just take offense because you're saying like they're garbage. They're not garbage. They're just not what you like in professional wrestling. You like larger than life. You like the way WWE presents talent differently than, say, AEW. AEW still feels like a large indie, which is fine because a lot of people like indies. And a lot of people never got to see a lot of these guys because they wouldn't fit that WWE mold without a lot of reshaping and retooling when they're already really great on their own. So it's the old analogy of ice cream flavors. There's different flavors.
But it's also like, and it's true, there is this feel, and I don't, I know I'm rehashing something, but like there's this feel at AEW that they're all just like, they're all independent contractors, but they're in it for themselves. They're working for themselves. They're working to elevate themselves, right? And not Chris Jericho. He's working to elevate other people.
Oh boy. Is he though?
I like Chris Jericho. I feel bad for him. He's good. But, at WWE, like you look at, we talk about Seth Rollins. You can look at Seth Rollins. Like, that man had probably the shittiest WrestleMania, losing the first match.
Or the best WrestleMania.
But everybody knew that he was playing this role, and he played a part, and he was integral. And like, he took his licks, and he realized he was doing it for the overall, and it was great.
Because his meniscus was torn, and he knew he was going to get about 6 months off after that. So yeah.
Okay, whatever the reason was, he did it.
No,
he left us with a good story, and he sacrificed a life for it.
I hope AEW gets to the point where it pulls you back in, like it pulls you in the same way. I think it could. I think it's going to take time.
Listen, I'm rooting for you, AEW. I hope it does.
Just don't call Ospreay and Danielson garbage.
I will call whoever I want garbage because that's what I do.
I don't want flaming bags of poo in my door or hurtful comments on the internet. All right, we've gone much longer than we usually go.
You can just edit it down.
No, this is all gold. Except for my Sprite Zero coffee.
You can edit out the stuff where you told my mom was like O.J. Simpson.
Well, I just mentioned it again, dummy. All right. Thank you all for watching, for listening, wherever you do that. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If there's anywhere else you guys want it to be audio-wise, let me know. Those are like, the big three. It's on YouTube Music. Linktree for everything if you want to follow at Tony Hurricane on Twitter. Chris Robinson NJ on Twitter for me, or X if you still call it that, or if you call it. Go to Linktree, subscribe, like, all that jazz. We really appreciate everyone watching and listening, and especially commenting. We're having a lot of fun doing the show. So we'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Toni.
Goodbye, Toni.
Not gonna wave?
Bye. Pageant wave.
Just no.